college was evacuated, you probably know all this, to Whitbourne Hall, which hadn't been lived in for a very long time, which had a moat, and it had big gardens, including a very big kitchen garden. And the owner's old head gardener, whose name was Armstrong, I remember, he was still there. And in order to have fresh vegetables, once or twice a week, instead of playing games, which is quite difficult anyway, you went and did the stint in the garden under the supervision of Armstrong, which is very good for one. The other thing was, around the moat, there were a lot of trees, mature trees, and of course there was a chronic fuel shortage. And we thought, well, this hasn't been lived in for a very long time, they're not going to miss the odd tree. And it was a tradition of the Boy Scout troop, of whom I was one, that during the summer holidays, they used to go off and camp, probably in the Lake District, somewhere like that, where a big forestry commission plantations, and work for the Forestry Commission, who were chronically short of labour. I mean, basically the only labour the Forestry Commission had were Germans who'd been interned, who would rather work for the Forestry Commission than just sit in an internment camp doing nothing. So, if you went off on the scout camp to do forestry, you learned how to cut down trees. So we knew how to cut down trees. In those days, it was before the days of chainsaws, the safest way to cut them down, because it was much easier to control, was with an axe, in the old-fashioned way. So periodically, those of us who knew how to cut down trees, we used to cut down one of these trees around the moat, and we would fell it into the moat, because it would do the least possible damage if it fell in the moat. We would then mobilise a team of boys with ropes to pull the tree out of the moat, so that we could back onto the bank, so that we could then cut it up, which we did.